The beginning of November has blessed us with new all-time highs on several major pairs, and I would like to turn the focus now to the next week or two to come and talk about some of the top 3 altcoin setups that are currently on the board. With that said, welcome back to EllioTrades channel. I'm your host Krown again today with some good old TA, and we're going to do a few setups here. Now, when it comes to the topic of setups, I want to state very emphatically, this is always in the game of trading a game of statistics and probabilities. There is no 100% guaranteed trade setup. While I do quite like these ones, and I do suspect that the market conditions are very forgiving and generous right now, please understand that what makes a complete trading plan is not just your entry, exit, but it is also, of course, what I like to refer to as risk management or invalidation. Some sort of condition that lets you know that whatever sort of trade idea that you had in mind is no longer valid, and it would be much better to just leave the position completely in order to not cause potentially further harm. Okay, with that said, I also want to encourage you to let us know in the comment section below if you like these type of videos, if you'd like to see some a little bit different, if you'd like to never see my face again, or also if you feel so inclined to like the video as well, as it rather does help us kind of assess, what is actually relevant towards your interests. Anyways, with that in mind, let me just turn off my alerts over there. Bad. There we go. And let's start it off with the first one. The first one, a rather interesting one to myself, and that is Atom Cosmos. And what do we have right here? We have a consolidation at a very high level. We have, of course, trend. As you know, I love my higher lows, and perhaps you do as well. And if we put on our drawing tools right here, we would have what's called an ascending triangle, a bullish reaccumulation formation. Again, do not let these words scare you. What it simply is just an uptrend with higher lows, implying that buyers are essentially getting more aggressive over time. Now, this obviously comes up with a resolution point or a validation point, as well as an invalidation point. And the reason why I like this one specifically for my own trading style, not that I really trade alts to begin with, but just thought this chart is interesting here, is this. Whenever I see that I can potentially grab an entry that's at the closest point to what I would need to invalidate that trade idea, I look at that as a great opportunity. And in this case right here, the invalidation point for this essential setup would be below the current daily low at $34 even, meaning that as long as we are closing above $34, I am looking for this one to trade sideways and up out of here. And if we do lose that area, this is no longer valid. We very likely work our way much lower with bounces along the way at $28.50. Anyways, with that said, a validation of a breakout out of this essential formation right here would be had with either a daily closure above 43.5 or a 4-hour closure above 45.5. And the implied target is all the way up here at the 1.618 Fibonacci extension, which is really good confluence with the actual measured move. On top of that, I do think it deserves some mentioning. BBWP on the floor, volatility essentially set to expand and contracted into this higher low, which I really like. Daily RSI also given us a bit of a not a short signal, but a bit of a short-term upside signal. And then my own indicator, the Jewel, is saying we're probably at a bit of a local low right now. And after that, well, looking for short-term timeframes to trade sideways and up, probably back up short-term to about 29.25. Okay, so that's the first one right there. Lovely and nice and simple. Again, assuming that this does fall through, probably looking at the next week or two of price action here. All right, let's move into the next one, of which this one I rather like. I've been following it for a long time, never traded it myself, and that is Chainlink. Okay, so what do I like about Chainlink right here? Very simple chart, actually, despite all of the too much indicators going on right here. Sorry about that. Let me just adjust that a bit backwards. There we go. And what do we have going on right here? Taking everything off, we have our first weekly confirmed higher low. The weekly being a powerful time frame is something that I like to pay attention to for bigger moves. And not only that, but we are approaching the prior range highs. In this case, this would be your prior accumulation range highs as well. So getting above this region would not just, one, confirm a higher high, thus trend continuation, but also has greater implications with the whole. And this one also would have a measured move on a confirmed closure. Actually, in fact, we are right there right now. In fact, at the 35 and a quarter. Sorry, no, it's actually lower than that. 34 spot 85 on a daily closure. And above there, yes, we do have a technical target based off of the measured move, which would be at about 45 and a quarter to 46 and some odd change. That's also, as you probably have already seen, in line with the 1.618 Fibonacci extension from this prior base, which I do quite like the confluence there as well. Now, if we bring up our indicators, volatility, what is it telling us? We are just looking to expand. Again, volatility measuring the dispersion of returns does imply that expansion essentially is what you expect on a real breakout. And I believe that this is what we're doing exactly right here. Daily RSI is freshly breaking into the bullish control zone and looking very strong right there. And even my own indicator is giving a fresh upside signal as well. Really like this one, and if we do close the daily above that region, I am looking over the next week or two towards those targets, and probably more over time, to be honest with you. What's the invalidation for something like this? Well, if we are basing this off of the overall formation, where does it lose its curvature? Below 31.5. So as long as the daily is closing above that region, I am essentially looking for this to follow upwards and onwards. And it does look quite good, even on the short-term timeframes right here, as trend is very much your friend right now. Okay, lovely. Let's go into the next one. This one actually very, very interesting to me. Not for any other reason than it is significantly different than most of the other major charts that we've seen, obviously on this video, but even just around the market as of the recording of this video. And that is Cardano, Carderpio, ADA. There we go. Don't mean to offend anyone out there, but always having fun with the names. Anyways, what is very interesting about this chart? First and foremost, it actually did break lower when most other things were not. Now, we did speak about this, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks ago. We said on a breakdown of $2, looking for a move somewhere between about 170 and 180. Looks like we did get that move to 180. And what happened in the last about week here is very important to understand. This is what's called a bear trap, where you essentially have a breakdown off of this formation right here, trades a little bit lower, and then what happens after that? It puts in a slew of 1, 2, 3 higher lows. That was the key critical component. And now we are back above the prior short-term range highs at 217. Very, very important stuff. Essentially trapped a bunch of bears thinking that this was going to break down much further, perhaps down towards $1. And now I do believe that the momentum remains and resides with the bulls. What do we see right here? Again, volatility is suggesting a humongous setup. This is the lowest that volatility has been for the longest time in this asset's history ever. We are looking at a humongous move coming up here. Momentum oscillators are bullish. This is my personal jewel, which I love. And obviously, daily RSI is rejecting the bearish control zone and reaching up towards the bullish control zone for the first time in a long time. The last time that we saw something like this, where it actually remained in the bullish control zone, was way back on over here on the 4th of August. And that was precipitating this major move alongside a low volatility read right here as well. That went up all the way for about a 130% gainer. Now, I'm not saying that's the exact same result that we'll see over here. Actually, if anything, this would suggest a more prolonged consolidation, which would imply a greater result for it. But now, what's the setup and what's the invalidation? Well, seeing as we are now trading above that area right there, I will lower this down to the invalidation. That's going to be $2 on a daily closure. 12-hour very likely does it as well. And while short-term, this one does short-term probably have a little bit of short-term downside to maybe 217, that's fine. The next major thing to be aware of is right here. So this would be the validation of the next move. I'd love to see a daily or 12-hour closure above about 237 in this case. Now, if we go down to a 4-hour, would it still be relevant? Yes, it would be. So probably could do it on a 4-hour as well. And at that point, I would be looking at targets towards the blue box territory over here. Now, again, based off of the long-term setup, do I think that things would stop there? Probably not, but I do want to kind of angle this towards the next couple weeks here. And we can also see that in the blue box territory, we see the 1.618 Fibonacci extension from this prior base over here off of the bear trap, textbook stuff, absolutely glorious. And then of course, above that region, we could talk about, obviously majorly new highs and all that good stuff, but I don't think that's relevant in this more short-term period for right now. And of course, need to see it prove itself first above about 237, 238 region. That would look really, really good for that move up. I didn't even say the number for that. It was about 275. And we're between about 265 to 275, looking very powerful right there. Again, be aware of the invalidation conditions, but for right now, Cardano looking like it wants to join the rest of the market, which is good. Now, we are 10 minutes into this video, which is probably about where I want it to be. Not too long, not too short, hopefully digestible. Let us know what you think in the comment section below if this is, relevant for you, if you want this to be like an ongoing series, maybe every week. I pick out a few altcoin charts that I think, kind of stood out on my own streams, of which I should let you know. I got my own channel. It's in the link in the description below, of course. You're welcome to come on over there at any moment in time that you desire. We do live streams every day, for weekdays. And I should also let you know that it's a little bit more in-depth, specifically for Bitcoin. Yeah, we look at some altcoins here and there as well. And it's a bit more fast paced and maybe a little bit less family friendly. So, please understand that. All good if that doesn't work for you, we can just reconvene over here and I'd be happy to do so. So I think that's a good point for me to sign off. Probably also let you know about the good old Bybit shill there as well. Of course, it goes without saying, look, if you're not an experienced trader, if you do not have success already with trading, it's not very wise, and I'd strongly suggest to not hit that link and not leverage trade or begin leverage trading. What you should do if you want to learn is start off with a paper account and prove to yourself through, many repetitions that whatever strategy you are considering is actually going to be viable over the long period of time. And then maybe, yes, after you can do that, then potentially consider getting into it. For the people who are experienced, well, there you go. Just take advantage of the deposit bonus and all good. At least that's what I do. All right, cool. So that is it for today. I'll be signing off now. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.